What is going on, guys? This is Crozen, and welcome to my stealth build for Starfield. So, stealth in Starfield works a little bit differently than, say, the older games like Skyrim and Fallout 4. Those games are much easier to sneak, but also they just don't tell you everything there is to know about stealth in this game. In fact, things such as the weight of your spacesuit and your helmet, all of those things affect just how well you can sneak in this game. So in this build, I'm going to show you the correct way to make a stealth build. I'm going to give you the backgrounds, the traits, and also my own personal build all the way up to level 60. That way you get a good understanding of how to play a stealth build, not only in the early game, mid game, but progressing into the late game. Starting our character, we're going to go with the Cyber Runner. They come with 3 really good starting skills with stealth, security, and theft. And then for traits, this is where it gets a little bit more subjective. But the ones that I went with, I go for Dream Home. I also go for Hero Worshipped. I love the Adoring Fan, so I have to go with that one. And then the last one I go for is Wanted. Wanted will give you more encounters in space, and it'll also give you more dialogue options in certain cases. So if you're trying to level up your ship perks, where you have to destroy more ships, Wanted will really help you in that regard. It's not really going to be too much of a factor with the whole being cornered thing that it gives you, where your health is low, you deal extra damage. That's a nice little bonus, but we're really never going to get our health that low anyway. But another good option that I could recommend, if you don't want to go with Dream Home, or if you want to just swap one of these out, you could go with Kid Stuff and get some nice content from that as well. So the next step is mapping out our build here all the way up to level 60. So I'm going to try to go over every individual skill tree and give you guys like a list as far as which ones to level as soon as possible and try to guide you the best I can all the way up to level 60. So we're going to start with the physical tree, and the main one here, you have to level up stealth as soon as possible. Get this to rank 4. Then from there, you could start worrying about some of these other perks. So I went for 4 points with weightlifting, 3 points in wellness, and 1 point in gymnastics. This was mainly so that way I could tally up 12 total points in order to go straight to the last tier and start getting concealment. So that's how I would map this out. You could also swap some of these and go for fitness if you wanted to. So let's say, for instance, you don't want weightlifting. You could take 4 points off of there, put the 4 points in fitness, or let's say you don't want wellness or gymnastics. Just remove those, put those 4 points in fitness instead. So it's really up to you. I just felt that this was the best way for me. And then keep in mind, stealth, just having this perk doesn't mean you're going to be amazing at sneaking. You have to note that spacesuits, helmets, the weight of those really affect just how well you can sneak. So the best thing to do is, in a case where you don't need to have your spacesuit on or your helmet, I would remove those. So like if you're indoors, just take them off. Or you could go straight for the Ryujin Industries quest line, and you could unlock a really good spacesuit that way that has a really low weight and shouldn't really hinder you too much. So that's probably going to be your 2 main choices here whenever you are trying to use stealth. The next skill tree I'm going to go over is the tech tree, and there are so many good perks here, and really they're essential for almost any build, so I have to recommend these. And the first one that you want to get as soon as possible would have to be piloting. The reason being, in order to unlock these additional ranks, you have to destroy so many ships. So if you try to hold out on this, you're going to find out that it's just going to be hard to rank this up quickly, and it's just going to limit how long it's going to take you in order to start piloting Class B ships or Class C ships. So I would get this really early, maybe level 2, maybe level 3. And you could also go for boost pack training. I would get at least 1 point in this. That way it unlocks the ability to use boost packs. And then security. You don't have to go high in this. You only have to go to rank 3. I wouldn't worry about rank 4. You mainly just want to be able to hack master level locks, and you want to do that as soon as possible. And then the last one here being targeting control systems for this first tier. I would at least get 2 of these ranks early. That way you unlock the ship targeting function, and you're able to slow down time as well. So those make it to where ship fighting is a lot easier just by having targeting control systems. And then, once you're maybe around, I don't know, level 15, level 20, you could maybe start going for starship design. This allows you to get the best customizations on your ships. Every build needs this, it's just essential, so you definitely want to max that out eventually as well. The next tree we're going to look at is the combat tree, and the main one that you want to level up here early is ballistics, and you could basically leave it at that if you really wanted to, but ballistics is going to be by far the best one. Just going to give you 30% extra damage across all ballistic weapons, and you get 30% increased range with the last tier. What I did after that was I tried to specialize in 2 types of weapons. So I went for rifle certification and shotgun certification. And you don't have to rank these up all the way. Really, you only need to go to rank 3, because after that you don't get bonus damage in these. So you could swap these out for anything, but I would recommend that you go for rifles at least. Because they're going to pair really well with sniper certification, and this is probably one you want to rank up later on in your build, because it's just going to make scoped weapons so much better, and it's really going to synergize well with rifles. But for shotguns, you don't have to use them. You could go for pistols, you could go for lasers, you could even go for melee weapons, and put 3 points in either one of these 3, or just go with shotguns like I did. The main thing that you have to take note of whenever you think about weapons with a stealth build, you need silencers. Silencers are going to be essential. You really can't sneak and stay hidden if you don't have a silencer on your weapon. So put silencers on everything. Just a word of advice. The next tree we're going to look at is the science tree, and there really isn't too much going on here. The main thing that you want to have is weapon engineering. This way you can craft some really nice mods and get your silencers on all your weapons and so forth. And in order to get those 4 points to get to the next tier, I went with 3 in research methods and 1 in surveying. I think a lot of people think that surveying is a really bad perk, but it's really not. The original scan distance is only 8 meters, which means that if you want to scan wildlife, you have to basically be within melee range of them. And yeah, that's just not a good idea when that wildlife wants to eat your face off, So it's probably best to at least get 1 point in this. You could even go for 30 meters. I find that 20 to 30 is good enough, but yeah, 8 meters, the original that it comes with without any surveying perk it's just really bad. So I would at least recommend 1 point in surveying, and you could maybe get this early too if you find yourself surveying a lot. And yeah, other than those 3 perks, I wouldn't recommend spacesuit design. As I said, spacesuits, they can really hinder stealth builds. But at least having these 8 points gives you the next tier unlocked if you ever want to take outpost engineering after level 60. And finally, the last tree is the social tree, and there really isn't too much to say here. We have the 1 point from theft in order to unlock the ability to pickpocket, and we got that from our cyber runner background. So all I did here was I put 4 ranks into persuasion. That way we get a nice 50% increased chance of success. With this perk, it's very subjective as far as whether people want to go for this or not. Because there are some items that just give you 20% increased chance anyway. So really the only way that this becomes useful is if you max it out. So depending on how much you persuade in all of your dialogue checks, you might want to go for this early, or you might just want to use this as like a filler perk in order to, put a point in if you have a point to spend. But at least it opens up the next tier. And that way, if you are traveling solo, you could go for the isolation perk here, and it should be really good for your build. I don't really travel solo, so I left this out in this build, but it's definitely something that if you guys are not using companions, you should definitely pick up isolation. So I hope this gives you a better understanding of how to create a stealth build, and just keep in mind, I can't stress this enough, wait is very important and it affects your sneak. So your spacesuit, your helmet, if those things are, weighing 6, 7 weight, it's going to affect your stealth. That doesn't mean you're not going to be able to sneak. It just means that it's going to be a lot tougher to get sneak attacks on every single enemy. So that's why I tell you guys, you're probably better off not wearing one when you can. And also keep in mind with weapons, suppressors are everything for a stealth build, so always have something that's silenced. Silenced rifle, silenced pistol, silenced shotgun, whatever it may be. And yeah, that will get you to basically mastering a stealth build in Starfield. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, let me know if you have any other recommendations as far as with this build, but also what other kind of builds you want to see, because I could make a bunch of these. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.